That
Perfect, thank you.
is filming. I'll go and tell Ellie. You're filming.
Need a little sign.
Quiet filming.
Hello everybody. I've been thinking about how much I enjoy playing with my hands at Chelwood and how we sort of use all our senses and make a big mess. And I thought that it's quite easy to make a mess in Blue class because we've got lots of space, but I know that you're at home at the moment and you might not have as much space. And so if you're going to make something a little bit messy, you want to be able to do it in a bit more of a sort of controlled way. So I'm going to show you how to make this, which is called bubble dough. And it's this very soft Play-Doh that you can play with at your houses. And you can make at your houses as well. So I'm going to put my apron on because that's the first thing we always do if we're going to play at the messy table, to put our aprons on. And then I'm going to show you what you're going to need to have to make this Play-Doh. I'm going to fasten my apron. Somebody can help with your apron because that's quite tricky putting an apron on by yourself. Here we go. So, I sit on my chair. This is in my kitchen. And I'm going to need 1 cup of corn flour. I'm going to need half a cup of washing up liquid and 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm also going to add some mint, some herbs to my Play-Doh so that it smells really nice. So you might have some in your kitchen, or you might have some in your garden, or you can even use dried herbs from your cupboard if you've got any sort of cinnamon or mixed spice, just so that it is really lovely to smell and to play with. So I've got some scissors to chop my mint. You could always rip it with your hand, although you don't have to use scissors. And then I've got a spoon to measure, and I've got somewhere, here it is, a cup. This is going to be what I measure my ingredients with. And I've got a sieve, because I think it's really nice to sieve corn flour. It looks a bit like snow. And I've got a big mixing bowl. And then when I've finished, I've got a damp cloth to wipe my table clean, all right? And then you can play with this without making much mess. But it's a little bit messy to make, which is fun. So I need 1 cup of corn flour, so I'll use my spoon. Let's see how many spoonfuls fill this cup. So there we go. It's 1, 2, 3. I think 1 more. 1 plus 3. 1 more than 3 is 4. There we go. So let me pour this into my sieve and let's make some snow. There it goes. Can you see it's going to go up into the sky? It's going to go all around. It's even going on the table a little bit. Already making a mess. This is excellent. A bit more. Can you hear it? Or can you hear the clock behind me? I can hear the clock ticking behind me. Let's push that through. A little bit more. Tap, tap, tap. It all goes through the holes. And then at the bottom, there's some corn flour that's got stuck. So let's use our fingers to get that out. There we go. Put that in the sieve. Give it a good shake. There we go. Use your hands to push it through the holes in the sieve. There we go. And that is a sieved corn flour. Looks like a bit of a wave, doesn't it, in my bowl? The next thing is the washing up liquid. I'm going to put half a cup of washing up liquid into my cup. I'm going to use both hands. It's quite hard to squeeze, actually. We do lots of squeezing at Chelwood. Using our hands to squeeze things. And when this is finished, I would keep this bottle and I'd bring it to Chelwood because then we could make all sorts of things with it. So keep hold of all your bottles while you're at home. And then I need 2 teaspoons of oil. I'm going to put it in the washing up liquid, give it a stir, and then I'm going to put it in my corn flour. So I'm going to mix this together first. So here's 1 spoon of oil. Put that in there, look. And then the second one. There we go. Pour that in. And I'm going to give that a stir. In my little bowl. Oops! Spilled some already. Not a problem. So, I'm going to pour this into my corn flour. A little bit at a time. I've sort of made a circle there, look. A circle of washing up liquid. And I'm going to use my hands to mix it into the corn flour. Because remember, eventually it's going to look like this. So, let's give it a good mix. And then once you've squashed it with your fingers, you can add a little bit more. Then you mix, mix the mixture up, mix the mixture up. Spin the bowl, spin the bowl around, mixing it all together. It's starting to go a bit green actually, sort of taking on the colour of this liquid. Okay, a little bit more. There we go. That's it. Mix it round and round. Mix it round and round. Squash it down and down. Mix it round and squash it down and down. Ooh. Bit like breadcrumbs now. Except I wouldn't eat this. This wouldn't taste very nice at all. Taste all soapy and disgusting. Okay, I'm going to make a little gap and pour my liquid into that little gap. And I'm going to do more mixing. Can you see how the sides of the bowl are quite clear now? Because they're bonding and mixing with the washing up liquid. It's starting to look a little bit more like this, but it's still very crumbly. So we need a bit more liquid. And this is going to be the last of my liquid mixture. Use my finger just to make sure it all comes out. And then we can mix this together with our hands. It's feeling a bit sticky on my fingers now. Can you see that? Very sticky. Icky, sticky, icky glue. If you were here, I might stick to you. Oh, here it is. It's come out of the bowl in one piece. So, you know I spilt some of my washing up liquid earlier. This is actually useful to mix into it now. I've got big clumpy pieces on my hands. There we go. I'm going to rub my fingers, see if it comes off. And I'm going to put this onto the table. So I'm going to put it in my splodge of washing up liquid. And I'm going to start to mix that together. Now this is the messy part, because what you might find is that it's a little bit too wet. So I wonder what I should add to this mixture if it's a little bit wet. What should I do? It's so sticky. I'm gonna add some corn flour, I think, because this one is very sticky. So I'm gonna use my hands to get a little bit more corn flour, like that. And we'll just keep mixing it all in. So really, you need to make this somewhere flat. So maybe inside at a table. You could do it outside on the ground. But you really need to be able to use your surface to play with your Play-Doh. So let's mix this all together. Oh look, it's starting to clean the table by itself. Look, it's a bit clever, isn't it? That means it's working. That means means it's the right amount of wet and dry ingredients. Let's get some of this off my hands. My green hands. Quite like my green hands. They smell very clean, I must say. There we go. I'll rub them together. There we go. It's a bit like when you have to wash your hands, because you wash your hands together like this, don't you? And then you go over the top. Let's see if I can get rid of all of this Play-Doh. And then you go over the top of this hand. Like that. And then you've got to do your thumbs. So let me see if I can get the Play-Doh off my thumbs. Let me use some of this dry stuff. Get rid of the Play-Doh on my thumbs. I'm gonna have to keep going. Palm to palm. Over the top. Over the top. Thumbs. Thumbs. And then we can get rid of the bits on our fingers, can't we? Look what we've made. All these little flecks. Oh, that can go into our Play-Doh ball. We can mix that in as well. So it's actually going to look quite clean. There we go. Brilliant. So, it's starting to look a lot more like the one I made earlier. But the thing I want to add now, I'm going to make these two combine together, is I want to add some lovely mint, because it smells so nice. So I'm going to just chop some like this. And I might just rip some as well. If you squash fresh herbs in your fingers, you get to smell them. Oh, it smells lovely. So I'm going to chop the last bit. There we go. And then I can mix this lovely fresh mint into my Play-Doh. And it's going to start to smell very nice. And then once you've made this, once you've got your Play-Doh, you can make absolutely anything you want to make. Made a bit of a tower with mine. It's a bit like a giant ice cream cone. But now you can enjoy experimenting and moulding and pushing and squeezing and shaping with your Play-Doh. So I'm going to put that in here in my bowl that I mixed, and then I think if we're going to be messy, which is fine, we must make sure that we tidy up, because we've got to share our spaces with lots of people in our houses and in our flats. So I've got my damp cloth, and you'll see that it really easily comes off the table. You can see the tiny bubbles from the washing up liquid on the table as well. You can put that in the bin and you're ready to play. Thanks everybody, see you soon.